Hi guys! Welcome back to my channel, the Pinay Abroad Vlog, the Kabayan Vlog version 2.0. Perfect! And I'm your Inday vlogger ng Davao City na nandito pa rin po sa Canada. For today's video guys, we will be discussing finally how are you going to apply for a study permit here in Canada. So let's start! By the way guys, before we start, if you're new to my channel, my name is Lerma and I'm an international student here in Canada. I make videos about my life as an international student and hopefully I'll be able to inspire you and help you if you are also dreaming to come here in Canada. So if you're interested about these topics, please subscribe to my channel and click the notification bell para updated kayo sa aking mga vlogs. You can also follow me in my social media accounts and ask me questions there. Okay, let's start na talaga. First guys, there are two ways on how to apply for a study permit here in Canada. Number one is apply through an agency or with the help of an immigration consultant. There are a lot of immigration consultants out there, so it might be hard to identify who is legit and who are not. So we will discuss that in another video. How are you going to identify if the immigration consultant is a legit one? And number two is you apply by yourself, or commonly known as DIY, do it yourself application, which I did, and that's how we are going to discuss in this video. Just a disclaimer guys, I'm not an immigration consultant and I'm not very expert, so all the information I provide here is based on my own experience and based on a little research as well. So yeah, that's a disclaimer. So step number one is to create a GCK account with the IRCC website. So I will put the link in the description box below so you have access to that. So this is the GCK account is the account wherein you have to do all your application, immigration related applications such as study permit, work permit, your PGWP application after your studies have finished. So IRCC stands for Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada. They are the ones who handle immigration related applications. So make sure that you do the first step, which is creating your GCK account. Also guys, when you're creating your GCK account, it will give you a rough idea of what are the documents that you need to fill out, the forms. They have a document checklist, so make sure that you create a GCK account first so you know what are the documents that you need to provide and to fill out. Step number two is to research about the program, the school, and the province that you want to study and acquire a letter of acceptance. So in this stage guys, you have to make sure that you choose the correct program and the correct province which will align to your future plans. There are two ways on how you're going to get a letter of acceptance. Number one, you can get it yourself. You have to pay a certain amount. And number two, you can get it through an agent and you don't have to pay anything. If you wanted to get a letter of acceptance, I can help you. You can just DM me in my social media accounts, which I will provide in the description box below as well. Depending upon the program and the school, you might provide in this stage your high school TOR, your college diploma, college graduation letter, and your college DOR as well. Remember guys, in choosing a program, you have to make sure that it is aligned with your work experience and educational background. So for example, if you already have a master's degree in business management in the Philippines or in any other country, it would not be very suitable if you would take a diploma course here in Canada, because that's a downgrade. Make sure, I would suggest that it's an upgrade guys. But you can also do a different program from your experience or educational background as long as you can back it up or you can support it. For example, in my case, my bachelor's degree was mass communication and I took business management, international business here because I back it up with my previous experiences. When I was in the UAE, I usually sell perfumes, shoes, gold. So there were postings in my Facebook page and Facebook account. So that helped me, convince the immigration officer that this one is suitable for me. So if you are planning to switch your career, make sure that the program that you are applying is that you can back it up with information and previous experiences or your passion. Step number 3 is gathering the documents. So I won't be able to discuss you all the documents that you need to provide. That will be in another video, but these are the most common documents that you might need to provide. Again, guys, the documents is different. My documents might be different from your documents because our cases is different. So for example, I'm single and you might have an OWP, or you might be married, or you have a kid. So obviously your documents might be different from mine, but these are some of the documents that are generally are needed for your application. So number 1 is IMM form 1294, or application of study permit made outside of Canada. And there's also IMM 5645, which is family information. So you have to provide all your family information in this form. And there's also IMM 5257, application for temporary residence. And also I provided you can also provide land titles, property titles if you have one. And also, this is very important, proof of fund. You have to make sure you have to provide at least 3-month bank statement. Actually, a 6-month bank statement would be very good if you can do that. You can also provide a bank statement, an account. If you want to open an account here in Canada, you can do that as well. You can provide that as a proof of fund. You can also do GIC. So this is a very common one. You can do GIC, is guaranteed investment certificate. So you would put money in a bank or a financial institution here in Canada. This is a very good proof of fund, guys, because it would strengthen your application, because it means that you have already put or invested money here in Canada. So it would really strengthen your application for study permit. Proof of fund also includes a receipt that you have paid your first term tuition in your college. So that's the basic one, guys, that you have to pay one term or one semester, your first semester in your college. But it would be better if you can provide a 1 year, if you have paid 1 year tuition fee for your program. Another document that you need to provide in this stage is the statement of purpose. So this is kind of an essay wherein you explain why that program, why Canada, why that school, why this province, and how are you going to support your study, your proof of fund, your home ties. So everything you have to explain here as much as possible. And I would suggest, guys, that in your statement of purpose, although we can discuss this in another long video as well, but I would suggest that in your statement of purpose, make sure that you explain whatever you explain in your statement of purpose, you have to back it up with documents in your client information. For example, if you stated that you have been a supervisor or a team leader of a call center in the Philippines, then you have to provide an employment certificate, right? So again, if, for example, if you said that you have a property in the Philippines, you have to provide a title of the property. So whatever you provide, information you provide in the statement of purpose, back it up with documents. Step number 4 is lodging your application. So this is a very common term when you're applying for a study permit in Canada, lodging your application, or have you lodged your application. That means you have submitted your application for review. You have submitted your study permit application. That's basically it. By the way, guys, the payment for study permit is $150. So after you have submitted and uploaded all the documents and paid, that means you have lodged your application. Step number 5 is the biometrics. So after a few days, I'm not sure now how long will it take for IRCC to send you a message that you need a biometric. So basically, it's like giving fingerprint to visa application centers. Now, if you have to provide your biometrics, it should be those valid visa application centers. So IRCC will provide you a link of the list wherein you can see the list of those centers that can get your biometrics. Step number 6 is medical exam. So there are 2 types of medical exam, guys. Number 1 is upfront medical. So that means that even without the request from IRCC, you will do an upfront medical exam and then submit it in your application. And then number 2 is you can wait for a request from IRCC to do a medical. So you can do both. It's up to you basically. Step number 7 is the waiting time, the waiting game. So by the way guys, I've read in IRCC website that the turnaround time or the processing time is 7 weeks. That does not include the time that you did your biometrics and your medical. Turnaround time starts only when all the documents is there. Like for example, if they requested you biometrics, that does not include in the 7 weeks processing time. Or if you have if they have requested you for a medical, that does not include for the 7-week processing time, and it might be lesser or longer. So that's the average turnaround time or processing time for a study permit. So that's basically it guys. That's the general steps of how you're going to apply for a study permit here in Canada. In my next video, I might be able to provide you an in-depth information on what are the specific documents that I have provided when I applied for a study permit here in Canada. By the way guys, if you have questions, please feel free to DM me on my Instagram account, follow me there too, and in my Facebook page. And I'll see you in my next video, and stay positive. Bye!